All right, so I should be live again. And let's see if anyone's still watching. I think a lot of people turned off and probably aren't coming back. We'll be able to watch it on 2x speed later. But let me see. Let me see what kind of live viewership we will have. We have 5 people watching. 5 people. Let's see if more will come on now that I'm back. Of course, the moment I shut down the computer and restart, I'm able to find the right button that brings the second display back to work. So now I have at least a proper workstation that I can do a stream on. We got 17 watching. Yeah, take two for sure. All right, Rusty's still here. Hey, World of Rusty. DM me after. I would love a couple of more graphics, man, if you have the time. All right, let's get to at least 50 people watching before I start doing anything. We're at 21 watching. Still on the low side. Let's get to at least 50 live viewers. All right. Well, maybe we'll have to do with 21. Let me see. Hey, 27. Got 27. Up to 27. Motorists, if you want to jump on, if you have or Fish, if you want to jump on, I posted the link to the Zoom in our moderator Telegram group. So anyone's welcome to come and join on the live stream. All right, we're at 31 viewers. Let's talk about Bitcoin until we get to 50 viewers. All right, here's a daily chart. The daily chart is sitting right at moving average support, and it's consolidating in my new channel. I can make the argument in both directions. It would be nice to get a daily MRI buy, but the daily MRI buy is going to come in the middle of nowhere, or it has to go all the way down to 65,000 and bounce off the 50 period moving average, which would be okay. I don't like double bottoms. We bounced off the double bottom. Not a fan of that. And it's not really doing much. The allocation is staying where it is, 100%. Here's the weekly chart. This week's about to come to an end. If we get a bullish week next week, closing us above 70,000, then I would expect us to go higher and significantly higher. What the hell is that? So the 5-minute chart of the S&P 500, that's a massive volume spike. What happened? No idea what happened. I think this is my weekly. Oh, this is my Bitcoin 4-hour chart. So what is this? Oh, I don't know why my Bitcoin 4-hour chart always goes back to the S&P. I don't know why that is. No, save it like this, but I don't know why it resorts to the S&P. It's weird. It should be on Bitcoin. And we're following the right path here. Wow, we're still only at 35 viewers. Wow, that's not good. Yeah, I bet a lot of people disconnected and didn't come back. Hey, Gary Garrettson, thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, no problem. Figured you needed some help. Hang on.
Yeah, I always need help, man. One day, I don't know, one day I will have a producer, but it's hard to be my producer. I stream randomly, like I need like a full-time team. I can't afford a full-time team because I don't make any money, so it's this chicken and egg situation. The tech and the quality of streams is not going to improve unless I pay for them, and it's hard for me to pay for employees when I don't make any money. Like I basically just live on my investments and my savings because I don't sell anything, I don't shill anything, I don't promote anything. The conferences don't make money, so it's hard for me to hire people at my own expense, right? It's easier to just lay on a beach all day and be wealthier than hiring people when you don't make any money. I don't really know how I'm going to make money. I've had plans before, but I'm tired of revamping the business. So we are still doing unconfiscatable. Hopefully, a bunch of people will join. All right, I'm gonna talk about the games. This was the live chat. I need to rewatch this along with the live chat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the live chat and I'm gonna make this full screen. Can you guys hear this? I don't know if you can or not. It'd be nice if you could.
I can monitor on stream. Um, I can't hear it through Zoom.
What's up?
I cannot hear it through Zoom. But let me
I
check. Let me check the stream.
yeah, I'm like on this current computer, maybe it's the latest Zoom. It's not feeding out the audio. So I would love to fix this problem, but I don't know how to fix this problem. So I have no idea. Like
It might
I
have to
want
do with
to,
your sound output. So like, what is it outputting through?
it's outputting through the speaker in my laptop,
Okay.
but it's not picking up in these mics. It used to. I used to do this all the time on
That's
my
a
prior
setting.
laptop.
We'll figure that out if
Yeah.
we can figure that setting out.
So I mean there is a couple of features here. There is automatically adjust microphone volume. Maybe that does it. Let me try this. And it sucks that like YouTube is on like a 60-second delay. So I'm doing stuff and then I gotta wait 60 seconds to wait for the live chat.
Trying to think. Let's see. The output through the speakers. There's got to is the setting in Zoom itself, or is the setting
There is
in
this. Hold
Windows?
on. Let me try this. Let me know if this works.
I can tell you right away because I would be able to hear it through Zoom, and I've got nothing right now.
All right, did anybody hear that? Anyone hears the poker? Anyone hear the poker game?
I don't think so.
That was a huge win by Dennis on a semi bluff with the Kings.
I'm gonna ask my kid. He might know.
All right, so there, do you guys? So there's no audio coming through from the video, right?
We got nothing.
I don't know how to fix this problem. It's so annoying. Like I actually want. Well, like I know it's annoying whenever I start my podcast, and if I get to mute my YouTube video and it comes through, and but how come this doesn't come through? I don't understand. I just don't get it.
So I am going to, we need to look in two places. The first place we need to look is in the Windows settings, and this, like the second place, I don't know if we look in Zoom first, but do you know how to get to your Zoom settings?
I'm in my Zoom settings, but there's just nothing there.
There's no audio. What does the audio settings say?
I don't know if we can do this live on air, man. We're gonna have to
Yeah,
figure this
that's
out
fine.
off air.
Hmm.
It sucks. So I can talk about these hands. So I'm gonna just mute it. Because if I hear like the announcer play by play is actually really, really good on this stream. So these are the hands I wanted to go through from that live stream game. So th this was an hour into the game, and this was probably my toughest hand of the night. So as you can see, I get dealt pocket queens, and I have $1,000 in chips. It is literally $1,000 in chips. And I bought in for $1,000. Everyone else bought in for $2,000, and then you can match the big stack at any moment. And I was the only one there with $1,000. Everyone else was like 1,500 or 2,000, and then everyone went up fairly quickly. So I ended up adding another 1,000 to my stack, so I can at least be where everyone else started. But at this moment, I still have only 1,000 in chips, and I'm break even at this point after an hour of play. And here's the crazy part. I raised. Okay, so if I go back to the beginning of that hand, so this is a prior hand. And I was also drinking some alcohol during the stream. I gotta say one more thing, not to make excuses, but this was one of the most stressful days of my life, basically. Yes, I do YouTube streams. Yes, I speak in front of 1,000 people, thousands of people, 100,000 subscribers, but I do that in an area of my expertise. Okay, I know Bitcoin, I know blockchain. I can stand there and call Vitalik Buterin a scammer to his face because I understand how the blockchain works. Now, this situation here, yes, I play poker, but I play $100 to $200 buy-ins, not $2,000 buy-ins, right? So there were three problems with me playing in this game. One, it's way higher stakes than I'm comfortable playing. Two, I'm playing against people that are better than me. Almost every single person at that table is better than me, and I'll admit that they're better than me. Some of these people are literally only play poker for a living. They don't have another job. Their job is to play poker and take money from guys like me that only play once a week at a house game with friends, recreational players. So I'm playing way higher stakes than I'm comfortable. I'm playing against semi-professionals to professionals, everybody at the table. And then there is the added pressure of every hand being live streamed, right? And every conversation being heard on a live stream for 5 hours. Okay. So that's literally three things. This was not easy. I was in like high adrenaline mode the entire time. And I was drinking bourbon and tequila. So because it's kind of like well, the other guys, some of them were drinking, so I was drinking, and drinking does help me relax occasionally. So this was very, very challenging, very challenging.
Hey,
So
Tom.
let's go to the hand. And this was my
Uh,
first real challenge hand of the night. What's up?
can you unmute your YouTube video right now that you're watching?
Okay.
Do you see the, just on YouTube, it looks like you're muted on, when you hit play, hit the unmute button right there. You
No,
had
it's
it.
on mute. Yeah, it was muted before. Now it's not.
No, it's still muted. Click on the icon right next to play. There you go. Now play it.
Right.
Okay. I didn't know if you had it muted before.
No, no, no. Well, right now it's not muted, so but no one's gonna hear anything.
Okay.
So it's really annoying. So here's the hand. I raised, and Steven, right there, calls my raise with an 8-2 suited. Like you can see the percentages. He's got an 11% chance to win this hand. To me, I did not. Anyway, we'll get to it. So calling with an 8-2 suited is insane, I think. I mean, maybe I should have raised more pre-flop, but I have queens. Like, I don't want to just win the blinds. I want this hand to go on. I actually want to play somebody because I know I'm in the lead when the hand starts. And the commentary is really great. It's just unfortunate you guys can't hear it. Florida Bill's a really good player. He won $7,000 at this table. So it's us three going to the flop. I raised, they both called me, and here's the flop. Deuce, deuce, seven. Now, I am not putting Steven on having a deuce. Because maybe if you deuce ace, I mean, if you have anything deuce ace suited, maybe. Otherwise, why call? This is a 5-10 game, and I'm $75 off the flop in a 5-10 game. So Florida Bill picks up top pair, 2 pair. That's a good hand. And I'm thinking I'm in really, really good shape, when in reality, I literally need a queen to win this game. And like the commentators are saying how I'm in deep shit, basically. And I think I'm in the lead. So I fire away and bet. I bet another 75.
Why is
And
Steven
Steven
even
just
in on
calls.
that? I don't understand him calling that. Was he big blind?
Steven,
Yeah. Why did he play that?
uh, even if he was big blind, the big blind is $10,
Okay.
right? Whether you're big blind or not, I have a $75 pre-flop bet, and the big blind is $10. It should not alter. I mean, a lot of people were doing $25 the $25 what do you call it, straddles. But even with the $25 straddle, I mean, this is insane. I think it's insane. I don't know.
I wouldn't play that hand.
But hey, it worked out for him.
Yeah. Yeah, for
I bet
sure.
75. He simply calls me, which again, and Bill calls. Again, I'm thinking I'm squarely in the lead. And the next card actually saved my ass. When the ace comes out, now I'm concerned, so I'm checking. And Steve comes out firing. Comes out 200. And Bill obviously folds with a 7. And I got a tough decision to make here.
But I can understand why you didn't. I can understand why you didn't think that he had it too, is my point.
Well, I don't even remember the twos. All I remember from this hand is shit, did he stay in that hand calling my $75 raises and caught his ace? So the question is, I'm going to ask the audience, would you call or fold? Okay. What would you do in this poker hand if you're me? Well, I was going to make a poll. Hold on. Totally forgot how to do this. Start a poll. Here we go. What would you do in this poker hand? Right? I mean, if you know what I did, don't answer, right? So I'm going to say call, fold, or raise, right? That's the only other option.
I fold that if it matters.
Raise, uh, or raise. Well, I got the poll going. Oh, Tyler. Oh shit. Socrates. Is he watching my stream? So, I mean, a lot of people are saying fold. I mean, maybe they know what I did, but like this is so hard to lay down. Literally, the only thing I'm thinking is he caught aces. And thank God the ace came out because if a jack comes out, I'm probably raising over the top and I'm probably out of this game because if I'm raising his over the top on his 200, I'm going like 400 and that's half my stack. And I'm already on the low end of this. So this was a hard fold and I thought about it. I'm even reaching for my chips. I'm getting ready to call him or even raise. Well, I'm not going to raise. I may call him. But now I'm thinking, what if he's got, kings or whatever, and then maybe another card comes out that will help him. I don't think he has a flush, and I just folded. I showed him my queens and I folded. But it's only on the live stream after I've rewatched it that I see that he had twos, which is I can't believe he called with that pre-flop. And you can see the dealer button is right here. So neither one of us was in small blind or big blind or anything. The dealer button would have been on the guy right past him. So none of us were in the blinds. And that was a really, really rough hand for me. And then the following hand, king six, and I offsuit, and I just folded. So earlier in that game, I did have pocket aces, but I ended up winning that hand after the flop or after the turn, so it wasn't all that eventful. Now, there were a couple of other hands that I was involved in, and you can see them here. So here's another crazy hand. Nope, let's go to this one. Nope, let's go to this. Yeah, let's go to this one. We'll do them in the order. So these were the big hands that I was involved in. None of them were all that big. So here's another hand that I was involved in. And I wish you guys can hear the audio. It really sucks that you can't. So Dennis raises 150. We're still playing a 5-10 game with a 25 straddle. Some people double straddle to 50. I'm on king 10 suited. I like that hand. I will play that hand. I'm at only 25% chance to win. And here's what comes out. Two cards to a really, really good flush. Sevens are still in the lead. Everybody checks. Now I pair my 10. But I'm running into a straight. So I bet 300, and again, Steven. So Steven was winning hands against me all night. You can see my stack is again below. My stack is again under my initial buy-in. And if he bets strong, this decision is easy. I know I'm beat. And he's betting, a third of my stack, 350, and I only have 950. So it's not strong enough. So obviously I couldn't catch my flush. I couldn't catch my flush. Again, this is my first live stream. I'm probably never going to play with these guys again. Well, I do know the guy to my left, so I'll play with him every now and then, but I don't mind showing my cards. I don't mind telling people what I had because these aren't the people I'm going to be playing with often. I'm not sure why I was thinking so long. When you rewatch it, it's like, man, show my cards and I fold. I didn't know what he had, but he had the straight. Oh, he did show it. He did show the straight. So that was another hand that I was on the wrong side of. Here's a hand that I was on the right side of. So I think this was my biggest. Well, I shouldn't say how it ended if you guys didn't watch the stream. Hold on, John. Oh, let me pause this. Wait, John. What are you suggesting? Let me try that. Let me try that. Maybe I can get the sound working. Audio settings. So what you're saying is Zoom has very aggressive background noise cancellation. Yeah, I'm aware. Turn that off. No, but you can't turn off that. You can't turn that off. That's the problem. You can't turn off cancellation. You can the features are auto, low, medium, and high. You can't actually turn it off. And I don't know if high means high background noise because that's what I have it set to, or is low high background noise. I like it's actually confusing.
Are you trying to pick it up out of your speakers with your microphone? Is that what you're trying?
Yeah,
That's normally
that's what
what
I'm
you
trying
do.
to do. Yeah,
And you can hear it coming out of your speakers?
right.
That's weird. Why would the mic not pick that up?
But I do also hear you coming out of the speakers, and it doesn't pick that up, but you are on Zoom. It used to pick up YouTube. Something about musicians. Hold on. I saw that feature. I saw that somewhere. Uh, hold on, guys. Try low. I'm on high now. I'm gonna set it to low, but if I play this, oh wait, this is muted now. No, it's not picking it up. I saw something about the original sound for musicians. I see that. Recommended for studio environments. That doesn't. Yeah, so do I turn that on? Let me see. Turn that off and select original audio for musicians. Okay, I'm setting original sound for musicians. There is echo cancellation, that's checked. High fidelity music mode and stereo audio. And there's live performance audio. Jesus. I don't know. Let me try playing it. Nope, that doesn't do anything. You turn that off. All right, I'm gonna have to Google this later. I have no idea. Sorry, guys. Yeah, can't do it. All right, let's get back to this hand. Let's see what happened here. King Jack suited for Dennis. Good hand. Good pocket. Dylan's gonna fold. Whoa, that was an ace. I like to play my aces. What did he have along with the ace? Hold on. Let me see this. Let me see what people had. It's actually hard. I'm playing it in like, you have to play this in like slow motion. 9-2's a fold. King 4, that's a fold. Jack 3. Oh, so there was no ace. I have a 10-9 offsuit, but I'm in the big blind. Am I doing the big blind or I was in one of the blinds or I was a straddle? So he bet 125, and at this point, I'm at a 1.5, 1.1 thousand, so I'm actually down. I'm already on a $2,000 buy-in, so I'm down, and I just took my chances with middle pair. And I got the two pair. I'm gonna mute, so this way I'm not. So I get the two pair. They both checked, and I opened with 250. I have 700 in chips left. Dennis calls me, and Dennis has slightly more chips than I do. And when that two came out, I just went all in. I actually thought I had less chips. And there was another all-in that's similar to that. I underestimate those stacks of reds and greens. I just focused on the black chips, and I didn't have any black chips, which are hundreds. So when I was going all in, I actually thought I was going with less than 700. I thought it was closer to 500. And the pot was already over 1,000. So the pot was 1,100, and my all-in just made it 1,825.
So when that 10 comes out, if I'm playing against 3 or 4 people, I will actually raise that. If I'm playing against one person, I will actually not raise that. I will check that if action is to me. And the reason is because I will bait him in. But if there's 3 or 4 people, I don't want them to have another chance on the river. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And we were doing push-ups every time someone went all in and won. Every time someone took a big stack, there were push-ups involved. I did my push-ups. I just did it after the following hand. I had to collect my chips. So Dennis ended up calling me, and this was so this I'm now up only $500. I bought in for two. I bought in for 2,000. So you can see right here, I'm up $525 so far in the game. And then there was a dealer switchover. So, and I think there was only one more hand that's highlighted for me right here. And I could have played this hand better. I called a 50. There was, by this point in the game, so we're playing a 5-10 game. And by this point, it's an automatic $25 straddle by the guy after the big blind. And then almost everyone is also doing a double straddle going into 50. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Socrates wants to come on the stream. He's a semi-pro player. And he wants to analyze. I would love to get his opinion. Hold on, let me forward him this link. This is great. I do have to go to get that barbecue soon. All right, let's see if Socrates jumps on. So let's see what he has to say. So there was probably a $50 straddle going on. So there was 25 straddle and a 50 straddle. And I'm just calling the 50. So I think Woody and I were heads up the whole game, this entire game. I'm surprised Bill folded with an ace-2. Ethan called with an 8-5. So Ethan, the guy right next to me, he just took down 200,000, him right there. He literally just finished third in a major tournament at this poker club, taking home 200K. So these are the kinds of guys I'm playing against. I'm pretty sure this guy is a fully professional player. And Florida Bill plays all the time, and the guy next to him had a... I mean, these guys play for a living. I bet 225 on that flop. I'm one card away from a straight, so I'm looking good, and I get my straight on the turn. So I get my straight on the turn, and there's already 1,200 in the pot. And I just went all in. I think that was one of my big mistakes. I mean, I am a 95% chance to win this hand, but I didn't know that. I didn't know what these guys had. And there are 3 spades on the board. And because there are 3 spades on the board, yes, I'm chasing a straight flush, but if a shitty spade comes out, and one of them is holding a queen, a king, or an ace of spades, chasing that flush, or if a queen comes out and suddenly we end up in a chopped pot, and once again, I didn't realize how much I had in chips. I didn't realize I had 1,400. I really thought I had closer to like 800-900. Like I didn't think I had more than the pot. So again, my mistake not realizing how much chips I have at the table, because once again, I don't play stakes this high. Socrates, I see you joined the stream. I don't know if you were here in the beginning where I said I was on like fight or flight, like high adrenaline the whole game, because I don't play stakes this high. I've only played a game with this high stakes, slightly higher, once in my life. And it was a bunch of Chinese guys who I know play loose as shit. Okay. There was one professional player at that game, and then a bunch of Chinese guys. So I wasn't. I was okay in that game. This is.
Yep, I did hear you saying that, and
What's
I
up?
could. I did hear you saying that, and that's something I can definitely understand and relate to. Even people that play poker for a living are intimidated the first few times they play on stream. It'd be the same thing as the first time you trade, like do a live trade in front of people. It's like, even if
Right.
it is your area of expertise, playing on stream and every single hand every play is analyzed. It's very, very intimidating. And I've never even really done it. I just know people from people who've talked about it.
Right, but that's one of the 3 problems, right? My other one is it's way higher stakes than I'm comfortable playing. I'm
Yeah.
playing against every single player at that table is more experienced than I am at playing poker,
Yep.
and every hand is being live streamed and analyzed. I mean, I can't believe I lasted the whole time and walked away with money. It's actually a fucking miracle.
That's awesome. And from what I know, you play solid poker, so that's not the biggest surprise. And I think this hand I jumped on to just kind of provide my input, as this is something I used to do for a living. And there's a few, I don't know, just ways to think about poker, and this hand brings up a couple of really important topics. I missed a little bit of the action as I was hopping on. Can you refresh my memory? There, I think there was a straddle, and
Yeah,
then
so look, everyone was straddling and double straddling, so it's very likely. So I'm just gonna replay it real quick. It's
all right,
very
perfect.
likely there was a $50. I mean, it's 50 to call. So I
50 to
simply
call.
just called the
Okay,
double straddle.
okay, and then we get one more caller, and he checks, and we see a flop. Is that correct?
No, there was a third caller. There was three of us to the hand. There was the guy right next to me called the you see, yeah, the two chips that he has.
Yep.
Uh
Oh, so
oh
there
no, he
was a raiser.
raised. Ethan
There was
Ethan
a
raised.
raiser.
Ethan
Okay.
was the double straddle at 50, and he raised with his 8-5 of diamonds to 175, and we both called him.
All right. Could you pause it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one of the main ways that's very important to think about poker is that you never can put them on one single hand. You have to put them on a range of hands that they could possibly have, and you have to do that with every action that is made. So, like before the flop comes, we have to be thinking about already what is a range of hands that he could hold. And the easiest way to think about that is to think about kind of the threshold hand, like what is the worst hand that he's going to be raising here. So we could feasibly imagine that he's got like ace deuce, any ace suited. He could have any two broadways like we see here that don't need to be suited. King 10, queen jack offsuit, king queen, 9-10 suited, 10 jack suited. All these hands are hands that we're putting in his range. So we're already thinking about what hands he could have. And the next most important thing to think about is our range, what we could have. So so that we know if the flop favors us or favors him. Um, uh, so that's just the first thing that we need to be thinking about is this a not just a good flop for our individual hand and an individual hand that he can hold, but an entire range. And then as the hand goes on, we can narrow down the range and use that to analyze our equity.
Right. So Socrates, so real quick. So this guy is, I mean, it was funny, we were talking about it, so it's on audio. He literally quit his job this week, and now he's only going to be a poker player. Before he was a semi-pro player, playing all the time, but also having a day job, I think software engineering or something, doesn't really, but something, that gives him flexibility.
Yep.
Now, if you were in his place off the straddle to 50 and a 5-10 game, would you have raised to 125 or 175, whatever he did, with an 8-5 off the straddle where he could have just checked?
Let's see here. We've got so it was I thought it was the king 10 that raised. It was the king 10 that raised, and then he
No,
called and you called, correct? Or am I missing that?
I oh, hold on. Maybe you're
Because he
right.
definitely should not be raising, but
Maybe
calling
you're right.
behind makes
Maybe
a
you're
ton of
right.
sense.
No, I thought Woody called.
Let's see.
I called.
Nope, because it's raised because it'll start saying like it's saying right now 50 to call, but now it's going to start saying like 175 to call or something. So it was the king 10 hand that
Yeah, you're
raised.
right. You're right. Woody did raise, not Ethan. You're right. You're right. Okay, yeah. So
Now,
Ethan was 50 in, and he just called. Okay, that makes so much more sense.
yep, that's definitely great pot odds to call with that hand.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. For some reason, I thought that it was Ethan that raised.
And if the flop came like 3-6 deuce, he probably would have let out and bet really big, even though he had nothing but a gutter, because it's so much easier for him to hit that type of flop. When it's this sort of flop, even though he's kind of got a little bit of equity, he should be staying away because this flop really hits you guys really well. As we can see, it's like really hard for you guys to miss this flop because you're going to be playing all high cards. There's going to be very little low cards in your range.
Right. Technically, we both missed it, but we both have straight draws.
Yep, exactly. Open-ended straight draw. So you both have really good equity on this. And check call, I think, is what you did, and that makes perfect sense. Or did you bet out at it? Yes,
I
you
bet
did.
out.
All right, I like that. That's good. Taking the aggressive action, and you have the draw to the straight, the nut straight. I mean to say, whereas if the 8 comes, you have the queen that'll out. You'll have the nuts. Whereas
Right. Well, I had the up and down straight draw, right? So I had more outs.
Yep, very very good. I like it a lot.
And yeah, so I bet 225, and the pot was, well, 225 less than the 800, you see.
Okay.
So I bet a third of the pot, basically.
Okay. Now he's calls, definitely like the call in position. He's also got to draw to the nuts if he hits the queen. Oh, and he's gonna, yeah, this, I don't like this play. This is if he should have at least a diamond on the board to be coming at this, I think, for a backdoor flush draw. It's just his outs are just dirty.
Right. So let me explain my thinking at this point, right?
Yep.
Because they both called me, I am actually concerned that when the 8 comes out, right? Remember, it's a third spade on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Because they both called me, I'm actually super concerned one of them could already have the flush.
Yes,
Which is a decent concern.
absolutely.
And I'm even more concerned if another spade comes out. Someone could
Well,
easily have a higher flush than me because then my straight's no good.
And
that's
this is
the
where
thinking is a little bit incorrect. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
no, all
No,
I
that's fine. That's
was
fine. No. Please correct me. So after, right? So this is what I'm thinking at this moment, right? If this was heads up, I might have played it differently. But because both of them called me, it's possible that one of them already has the straight. And it's also, I'm like, if another little spade comes out, I could get overtaken. I know my straight's good, but I'm also concerned that it could be a split pot. And I just decided to go all in to try and win it right there because since they both called on the turn, there was 1,200 in the pot. I only have 1,400 in chips. If they both fold, I can double up this hand. So I went all in and I took it down. And right here, you see me go all in. And they both end up folding, even though Woody has a straight.
Okay. So that is where the thinking is a little bit off because your concern about the flush is valid, but the reaction shouldn't be to then make a big bet because you could potentially own yourself. What you want to be thinking about is what hands are going to call. And in this situation, if they have a flush, they're absolutely going to call. So it's like kind of reverse implied odds, where if they call, you're almost never good. And if they don't call, then you were probably really, really good because if they don't have a flush, the hand that we're targeting is exactly what he has, a 10, and we cannot let him fold that hand. It's kind of a disaster for us. And the 10 of spades is actually really valuable for us because if he has a queen 10, it's unlikely he has a spade as well, and we get a free roll. So what we want to be looking at, can you go back to before you bet? What we want to be looking at is the size of the pot and be thinking about a bet that allows us to make good sizing for the river. So here there's 1,200 in the pot. We have 1,400. So in this situation, we can bet half pot really nicely, and it puts him in a really, really tough spot. So say we bet $600 or so, and he can never fold a 10. And if he's got like even two pair, like 7, 8, or 8, 9, and you bet 600, he can't really fold that hand either, and you're crushing him. So that's what you want to do, is you want to entice hands with really low equity to continue. And the fact that you have a spade actually increases equity to your hand versus if you didn't have a spade. So if you bet 600 here, they're in a really tricky spot with almost all of their hands. They're going to have a lot of two pairs, a lot of single tens. And then maybe what if he's got like ace 10 with the ace of spades? We want to charge that. So if we bet 600, then the pot's going to be 1,824 by the river, and you're only going to be sitting on about 800. So now, again, we're going to really put him in a tough spot by betting 800 on any non-spade river. We bet 800 into like 24. And what are you going to do if you're sitting there with 8, 9, 7, 8, Jack 10? You're going to pretty much have to pay off based on the sizing that we get to choose. So that's just kind of one thing to be thinking about. And that's another thing that's really tricky with live poker, is always thinking about stack sizes and what the pot size is. It's something that takes a long time to really kind of do automatically in the back of your head, because it's something you're just not really going to be thinking about in real time unless it is going on in the back of your head every street.
Right. No. That this makes absolute sense. Thanks for all the knowledge and wisdom. And but yeah, so at the end of the day, right, one of the reasons for my all-in decisions is because I really did think I was up in that hand. I didn't think I was 95% certain to win, but I thought I was up in the hand, and I just really wanted to take it down. I wanted them to fold.
Yep.
So I can like stick around, and now I'm basically doubling up my stack at that point. I'm I have 14. Like I've lost too many hands on crazy rivers, and I know I usually play the odds, and I always go with the odds, and I never even studied the odds. I'm just kind of like I depend on my math background to kind of generalize and understand the odds. But in this case, I just wanted to take this hand down so I can play longer till the end of the stream. My goal had two goals, right? One, don't get busted on before the end of the stream, and two, try to walk away in the green by the end of the stream. And I was able to achieve those things by somehow walking away. And this was the final tally, because I do have to get going.
All right. And let me just sum that up, because it touches on a really, really important topic. It's rarely happens, but it's extremely important when it does, because there'll be huge pots. And what you just said there was that you basically, and it's all good. There's always different situations going on, different goals and everything. But what you did was you turned a straight, like a really, really good hand, and you turned it into a bluff. So what you just said was you wanted them to fold, and you knew in your head, if they call this bet, you're in big, big trouble. So you really don't want to be bluffing with hands that are really valuable, made hands. Those are hands that you want to be betting for value, and you want to be bluffing with hands that you can cause better hands to fold. So say if there you had ace of spades and king offsuit, you just have the naked ace of spades and you go all in. Now it's a great play, because they're going to be folding a lot of hands that are better than yours. And if they do call, you always have outs, you always have equity. So it's just an important concept to never bluff with hands that are made hands. Always try to target worse hands, because you don't want to be betting only when better hands are going to call. Just a concept to think about.
Gotcha. And yeah, so this was the final tally, how the game ended. You guys, check out the stream. And like I said, keep the three things in mind. I was a nervous wreck throughout the entire thing, between higher stakes than I'm used to, playing against significantly better players, and all better players, right? It's one thing if there's like, two really good players at a table of 8, and then at least you got some other guys there that you can compete with. This was, at best, I was better than one or two people. That's at best, and even that's debatable. Uh, it's possible I was the nit the entire time. I was the fish at the entire time at this table, and but I'm not really a fish because I don't play. I wasn't gonna play loose at this table, and I don't have that kind of money. Is what usually refers to a fish. And here's the crazy part, right? I actually, because I've never played online poker and I only play house games. After the game, right here, you're gonna see, and you're about to laugh, Socrates, and so is everybody else watching. And this is why I need to take some poker lessons. I actually had no idea what VPIP was until
Yeah.
last night. And
What
then
was
this morning, I actually last night and this morning, I was reading up on what the hell it is. I actually didn't know what this was. But because again, I've never studied poker. I just play and I learned through practice. I learned through playing. And there's one more statistic besides VPIP. It's how often do you like raise?
Yep.
And
Uh,
they didn't show that. It would have been cool to see that. And I was right in the middle. Surprise! And it's not something I was trying to do. So I think this was a really people said this was an awesome number, and I'm like, that's great. Now I don't. Now I need to go and Google what the hell that means.
yeah. Like I said at the start, you're in my from when I played with you, your instinct is very accurate in most situations. You're in my read. You're not too tight, and you're definitely not too loose, and that shows it right there. The VPIP professionals are going to be right exactly there at anywhere from 25 to the loosest ones will be 35%. And you can see just by that, that Florida Bill, Dennis, Eaton, David, those guys probably all are very studied and know what they're doing. You just assume that by seeing the hands that you're picking to play because that is theoretically optimal. And then the pre-flop raise, you want to be raising about 20%. So about 30% of the time you want to be coming in the pot, and about 20% of the time, 2/3 of the time that you come in the pot, you want to be the aggressor raising. And I would assume that yours is around there based on
Yeah,
what I played with you.
yeah, it would have been around there. And I will say one more thing. After the stream ended, we played for another 60 to 90 minutes. I was way more relaxed now that the live stream was over. It was so much easier to play. And I spent 4.5 hours and I ended up winning 900. And in the hour and a half after that, I won an additional 1.3 thousand.
That's awesome.
So, and I was way more comfortable playing once the live stream turned off. Now, I will also add that after the live stream turned off, the first two hands were huge losing hands for me.
Yeah.
But after that, I came back nicely. And I actually locked out on the very last hand of the night. By the way, Ethan, you saw Ethan's numbers was very, very high VPIP at 44%, but he doubled up and he was a pretty good winner. You see Ethan, sorry, Steven, not Ethan, my bad, Steven. He won almost 4 grand, but he won, I would say, more than half of this or the majority of this on the very last hand, where, and here's that last hand. And
Which was who was it that got you with the 8 deuce suited, I believe?
that was the same guy who had
I was
the,
gonna assume that. And I
yeah,
could have
that was
told
Steven.
you
So here's the
um
last hand. So check out this last hand. It's actually super interesting. And then we're
okay.
gonna call this stream a day. This is the last hand of the live stream.
All right, I'll pay
I really
attention.
wanted to play it, but I can't play with the 4-2. So Steven 25 to call with pocket threes. Raises to 75. Woody folds queen two suited. I might have played that for 75.
Maybe in the blinds, but not
So
too early on.
Bones is the professional player at this table. He's
Okay.
got 4.3K, Steven at 2.3K. I'm actually surprised that it's such a higher percentage than pocket threes here. Maybe someone folded a three already, I guess. I'm not
Um,
sure.
the
Oh, it's
seven,
because of the sevens. It's because of the
yeah.
sevens. The sevens are altering the percentage. I see it. So look at his hand.
Oh, nice. Okay. So here we want to see like a $250 bet to at least 225. You want to be
So
betting enough.
Bones is the one that bets
Yep,
with
definitely.
his king queen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You want to be betting enough to deny equity to like a 10 jack or two diamonds who have to continue. If you
Now
bet
this
two,
is a.
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
If you bet less than half pot, then they're actually making a profitable call. So you want to be betting about 75% here so that their call with draws is actually losing money. And then you know that they have a nine sometimes, but that's only maybe 20 to 30% of their range. Most of their range is going to be worse queens and draws.
Right. So you're saying Bones under bet at 125.
Yep. Because
Big.
even though we can see right now that the other guy has a nine, you can't be assuming that at the time. At the time, you've got to be assuming that what I just said, that his whole range of hands, a nine's only a small portion of it, and you want to be charging the rest of it.
Now, obviously, trip nines is going to call. What would you do if you were Ethan with pocket sevens?
Well, it's interesting with nine. I would strongly consider raising with the nine against a small bet because I really don't want other people coming along. I really want this to become a heads up pot against a queen or against a 10 jack or like a nut flush draw or something like that. If I call and then another couple of guys call, um, it's going to be not nearly to our advantage because we're out of position for the rest of the hand. So I would probably go ahead and raise with the nine, but he calls, and with the sevens, you just got to get out of there because it's multi-way. When it's a four-handed pot, and you already have a better and a caller, you got to be thinking, what do they have? And what they have is just got you crushed. I mean, you are literally drawing to a seven, so you just got to get out of there.
Right. So this is Florida Bill. He's the one with the 9-6, trip nines. He just calls. Socrates might have probably raised. You're suggesting Ethan should be folding. Let's see what he does.
And the bet's so small that you're almost getting odds to
Right.
call to
So
fit for
Ethan
the full
stayed
house.
in, and now you have Bones bets 125. Dylan calls. Ethan calls. Now, what do you do if you're Steven?
So we could go through the pot odds here pretty easily. So let's start with Eaton. It's 570 in the pot. We have 125 to call. So we need about 20% pot equity. So his call here on the surface is losing money. You need 20% to call that pot size bet. But if you think when you hit a full house, you're going to get more money in the pot, that's called implied odds, then you can go a little wider. So my instinct was correct that sevens is it's on the wide side to call, but that's the problem with that small bet. And the call is now people get really incentivized. Like it's pretty easy to think that if he hits a seven, he's going to get another $500 in the pot. And if that's the case, then he is getting the right overall implied odds. And Steven is getting even better odds. He's got the let's see, 125 into now the pot would be like 6-7. I don't think they have updated it yet. So
Right
that's
there.
like yeah, so that's like that is definitely the right odds. We can see that um yeah. Now
So,
yeah,
so
that's
at this point, if you're Steven, you're calling.
yeah, you're getting the odds. And that's really the problem with that small bet. And the problem with not raising the 6-9 is now you got two other guys with a total of 20% equity. One out of five times they're going to win the hand. And there's just you don't want that. They're getting the right odds. If they're the pot, if they are getting 20% pot odds, they're not losing any money by calling, and they could win a lot by having a hidden hand.
Right. Well, you're about to, I think you were about to, you already That's Bones, by the way.
All right.
And you're about to see what's gonna happen. And I think you already know where it's going.
Excellent.
Oh wait, Stephen raised with his pocket threes. Is that
Oh,
a call?
that's interesting, but a terrible sizing. Absolutely terrible sizing. That is really interesting. If you would have made it like 700, 600, and nobody had a nine, they're all folding. Like that's an interesting thought to go ahead and raise here, but that's just the silliest sizing. Nobody's ever going to fold to a min raise when they've already put this much money in the pot. I mean, that is like maybe he like didn't mean to do that and he just put. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
Nobody's
let's
ever
go on.
folding now.
So Bones obviously calls. Dylan will obviously call. I don't remember what Ethan did.
You have to call. I mean, you're just stuck and just. I mean, that's just the silliest raise.
I think looks like Ethan folded.
Let's see. I think no.
I didn't see cards in front of him. Yeah, he folded.
Oh
He folded the
wow.
sevens.
And that's the problem with making the silly call on the flop. That's a really interesting spot for him. He hated that call on the flop, and then when that raise comes in, he's just like, God damn it, I should have already folded. Because now he's got even better odds than he did before. So but you feel like you're sending bad money after good after like you making a very marginal call on the flop. So that's one where he's just like really kicking himself under the table.
And and look at it's as if Steven knew he was going to get another three.
Oh man, this is when you're having a nine and this happens. This is when you just know it is not your night. Time to go
And
home. Because
there's no way Dylan can put Stephen on holding threes.
what Dylan's thinking about is that Steven has a better nine. I mean, there's the only thing that Steven's representing, especially with such a small sizing, is that he has like queen nine, ace nine, just the absolute nuts is what he's representing. So if I was Dylan, I would be really worried already before the turn that, like, what is he doing this with that is worse than me? I would have 10 jack of diamonds for an open-ended straight flush draw. I'd have a really hard time coming up with any hands that are worse than me. And I would think he's got a lot of better nines and even some full houses that he's just trying to really entice us in with. And that's kind of what you're thinking when you fold the sevens. You're like, well, if he's got queen nine, I'm already dead. So I'm just going to save my money.
So Bones comes out firing with 500
Oh,
with
this
his
is too
queens.
funny. He raises and then hits the two outer and checks. Like this is the fishiest line. Like once you
I'm
hit your
sorry,
miracle
this is
card,
Dylan. This was Florida Bill. This is Dylan who's in the hand, who's also a very good player.
once you hit your
And
miracle hands.
Dylan just called with his nine, and Steven goes all in for 2,000.
This is another one of those spots. Why it's so important is because when it does come up, it's huge, huge, big pots. He's probably going to get paid off by Dylan, but when he goes all in here, he's not loving it if somebody calls him really quickly. He's worried about pocket queens is what Bones could have because he's the pre-flop raiser. He's the only one that got pocket queens. Queen nine. I mean, it's like one of those spots where you got a miracle big hand. You really got to pick your bet sizing carefully. And since there's a bet of 500 and a call, you can go ahead and go all in. But man, it's just such a terrible line. You got to bet the turn yourself so you can set up the proper sizing on the turn river, like we talked about before.
So, so do you think going in for 2,000, like doubling the pot? The pot was about 2,000. The pot is now 4,200. Do you think he should have bet a little less? Remember, it is also the last hand of the live stream, so you kind of want to go big or go home.
Yeah. He should never be in this situation, but if he is getting himself here, he should absolutely just call. And the reason is you want to let them have a chance to hit their draws. If somebody has 10 jack here, they're calling. So say Dylan, if he has 10 jack, he's going to call that $500 bet because he's going to have the right pot odds. If you have a nut flush draw, ace jack of diamonds, ace 10 of diamonds, if you're Dylan, you're
Or
going
clubs.
to it's going to be tough for Dylan to have bluffs when he calls here. Like he's generally going to raise with like just bluffs. When he calls, he's got a lot of draws. and he's not gonna go call with a draw. He's because then he's gonna think he's gonna know he's drawing dead against a
Yeah,
full house.
so Bones knows that he's beat at this point. Obviously he got a caller and then an all-inner. So Bones, I'm pretty sure is gonna bail out. He is asking him how much he has.
Yeah, and he's definitely not loving this. It's it's tough. Yeah, if he calls here and then a diamond rolls off, he's getting paid every time on the river. If the other guy has a flush draw, and if he's not raising here on the turn, he's not really protecting himself from anything, because he's already got the boat. He doesn't have to be scared of draws. So if he calls the turn and finds a way to go all in on the river, I think he's going to have a lot easier time getting called by Dylan if a diamond doesn't come off. So he's kind of looking good on almost every river except for a queen or a nine.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah.
Bones folds this hand. He's just taking his time.
What do you think you would do with the 6-9 in this spot? Probably just cry, like just be sad and pay him
I don't
off.
know. It really depended on my stack. So
Yeah.
it's the last hand of the night. If it was still gonna keep me in the green, I probably would have called. But if it was for all my chips, my final $2,000, I would have just folded and taken my buy-in home with me.
Yep. That makes sense. Definitely. Very
Because
easy.
I'm 50-50, and if I'm in Dylan's shoes, I'm 50-50. It really depends on in this case, it really depended on perception. And Dylan called him, and this is how Stephen was able to win almost $4,000 by the end of the night. Because again, I don't think I would have lasted as long as he has in that hand. Um, Honestly, like I know what you say about pot odds, but I don't think I'm paying that 125 with my pocket threes on this flop with three guys already in the hand after the flop.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. I don't think I really would either. It's one of those spots that it's so rare that you hit, and like it's only like if it's only a break even call, like say you need 20% equity and you're getting the 20% pot odds. What that means is that it's just dead break even. You're not making any money unless you're getting better than. So it's just like a break even sort of situation that if you really, I wouldn't either. And before it got to the turn, I even said, even with that small bet, I'd just go ahead and throw it away. Because you really, when you're making that kind of call, you want the cards, the paired card to be under you so that you still have a chance to boat over boat somebody and you're not in danger of hitting your miracle card and them already having it. So what I mean is like if it was queen 5-5 and you have pocket sevens, then yeah, I like it because now you can stack like a 4-5 even if he hits a full house, you're good over his paired his three of a kind. So yeah, I'd never really call with sevens on that turn.
So, all right. So one last thing because I do have to get going. So after this hand ended, I was up $1,000 on my $2,000 buy-in. Over the next hour and a half, I won another 1.3 thousand. So I walked away 2.3K up on the day. Now, the very last hand of the night, which obviously wasn't live streamed, and it was officially the last hand at this table because some of the guys wanted to go play higher stakes in the poker club itself, and I
Yeah.
was more than happy to go home and just freaking relax. And
Yeah.
and I was going home with my friend right there, and he was the ride back to Austin. This is like maybe a 30-minute drive north of Austin. And on that last hand, I get dealt Queen 3 of diamonds. It was the very last hand, and I've been getting dealt Ace 3 or like King 2, Queen 4, Queen 3 all fucking night.
Yeah.
And I know it's the last hand. I kind of want to play the last hand. It's another Queen 3. I'm like, I was so like angry that it's another Queen 3, and on the last hand, I just folded it pre-flop. The flop comes out 3 diamonds.
Isn't that how it works?
Okay. the flop is 3 diamonds, and there is betting going on because it's the last hand. And after that flop, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I play it? It was the last hand. It wasn't that much pre-flop to go in. And saw there was someone else had a king 7 of diamonds.
Ooh,
And another guy had an ace of diamonds.
wow.
So had I played that last hand, I would not have been up that 2.5 grand.
You would have lost it all with 0% equity. And that's a perfect example of why you got to stick to playing solid pre-flop. You play solid hands, the top 30% of the hands pre-flop, so that you're the one that ends up in the dominating situations, and you save yourself from the times where you would be dominated by the higher cards. And so that's a byproduct of your solid play pre-flop and discipline play, because it is sometimes, like if you flip a coin, sometimes 10 times it comes up heads. If you're playing 30% of the deck, you're only getting about 30 hands an hour in live poker. I mean, it's pretty easy to go a few hours without getting any playable hands by playing a 30%, pre-flop strategy.
All right. On this note, I do have to get going. We're gonna play some poker here at the Bitcoin co-working space. My normal $200 buying game, and I want to get some barbecue, and I want to eat before that. It's almost 5 o'clock here. So thanks so much for joining, guys. I'm coming to Vegas tomorrow. I'm actually playing in a charity poker tournament. Man, I don't even know how to pull that up. There's a charity poker tournament tomorrow I'm playing in, and then the day after is going to be a meetup, and we'll probably play some poker there as well. I'll tweet this out one more time. I'll probably tweet out the poker tournament as well. I'll do it later tonight. And see you guys in Vegas, those that are there. And so we'll chat offline soon. And yeah, I can definitely use some poker intermediate lessons. Eventually, I'll get to advanced.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, bye guys. Thank you all for watching. So thanks for joining. People have been awaiting your return. Maybe we'll get a weekly stream with you on the Financial Summit YouTube channel to just get your analysis.
Absolutely. Would love to.
Awesome. Gary, thanks again for joining. And we got to figure out this audio thing so I can play a YouTube video and actually get the audio feedback into the microphones, which is how I used to be able to do it on my prior laptop. But I don't think it's a laptop issue. I think it's the latest version of Zoom has some kind of settings that the Zoom on my other laptop did not. All right, guys. See you all